So the topic of this video is going to be about food in the Bible. What are we supposed to eat? I've had a question all my life about what I'm supposed to be eating according to God. I've heard multiple things. You should eat this. You should eat that. You shouldn't eat this. You shouldn't eat that. And all over the different camps of thought, what you should and should not do. This is the conclusion based on everything that I've ever been told and study of the Bible, what we are supposed to eat. So, looking back, from the last video, Genesis 1, chapter 1, in the beginning, what were we created to do? I'm going to start from the beginning, a biblical history of food. So, in Genesis 1, chapter 1, we got to talk about the things that God created. What did He give us for food, and what did He not give us for food? That's very important. That's the way that we're supposed to be. That's what we're supposed to be eating. And the things that we're not supposed to be eating. So He created grass, which is one thing you would think. You could throw that in a salad. People eat grasses every day, wheatgrass, smoothies or whatever. He created the grass. It does not specifically say that it was given to us for food. He also created herbs and trees that bear fruit and therefore bear seed. Those things are specifically stated to have been given to us for food. If you don't believe me, check out my last video. I'm not going to, go back over things. Check out the other video. You'll see where it's written. I pointed out specifically. Same thing. Go back to the other video. You'll see this. Living things, He did not give us for food. It doesn't say that He gave us these living things to eat for meat, which means food in the Bible. Okay, so He gave us dominion over these things. And dominion does not mean food. It means control. So we are supposed to keep them in line, whatever that means. However you keep dominion over living creatures. That's what we're supposed to do in Genesis 1. And this is all pre-eating the fruit, pre-fruit. What we are supposed to do from the beginning. And God is trying to get us back to that because that's how He created us. The whole Bible, the common theme is you're supposed to be doing Genesis 1, what God created you for in the first place. All right, so what happened pre-fruit and post-fruit? Well, we ate from the tree of knowledge. And what does it mean to know? Well, the root word is knowledge, know. What did we learn from that? Death. What happens after we ate the fruit? People and creatures start dying. We are no longer immortal. God says we're going to die. Unless we take from, physically reach out, make an effort to reach out and take from the tree of life, wisdom, we are going to die. Immediately after, when it goes on to, in Genesis still, when man starts breeding, procreating, being fruitful and multiplying, the first thing he goes on to discuss is Cain and Abel. Cain killing his brother, death. Everything post-fruit is about death and dying. So what did we learn from eating the fruit? Well, we learned death. And that's the main thing. Okay, taking the blood of a living creature, which is its life and its spirit. Multiple times in the Bible we talk about blood. You shouldn't eat it because it is the life and the spirit of the creature that you took it from. Even when we are allowed to eat meat from a living creature, we're supposed to drain the blood out of it because God says it is the life and the spirit of the animal, and we shouldn't be eating that. So that is what we're talking about. Also, knowing. In the Bible, multiple times talk about knowing. For instance, after Jesus was born, then Joseph knew Mary. To know is to, in that case, have sex. And to have sex is to become one spirit, become one with each other, to make a contract for eternity, to be together. So in knowing, in the knowledge, when we ate the fruit, we made a contract with death. That's what we did. We knew death at that point. We took it into ourselves. We became one spirit with death and knowledge, other things. That is the evil part. Tree of life, the opposite of death, obviously, is life. Tree of life is the tree of wisdom. That's going to be a common thing here. Knowledge equals death, wisdom equals life. It's pretty much pointed out in multiple points, but starting in Genesis 1. Okay, so blood equals life equals the spirit of a creature. Knowing death means now, I don't know why my camera keeps refocusing. Now we take lives. So now that we ate the fruit, now we take lives. We know what death is. We're going to explore that because we chose to seek knowledge. We're going to continue to choose seeking knowledge. We're going to learn more things. So now that we know, we're going to take lives. Now that we know, we kill living creatures. Now what? What are we supposed to do? Because that's not what we're supposed to do. Genesis 1 is what we're supposed to do. Not kill creatures. Not take their blood. Not take their life. Not take their spirit. It doesn't belong to us. Because God said, He blessed the creatures, said, be fruitful and multiply. And when you kill things, that's, in the opposite. So then, in Deuteronomy, we have instructions for how to eat flesh from living creatures. So what changed? Well, after we knew death, humans went absolutely insane. We started killing living creatures and eating them, even though we're not supposed to. That's insane. God sees this and He says, whoa, that's ridiculous. Well, I guess now they have knowledge. They're going to do crazy things. We couldn't handle the knowledge that we were getting from what we used to be. That's why we started doing such crazy things like killing living creatures and eating them when we're not supposed to. God told us not to do it. He didn't give us that right to do so, and we shouldn't have done it. So why are we not supposed to eat animals in the first place? Because that's important. God didn't give us the animals to eat. Wisdom is what we're seeking here instead of knowledge. That's why you guys have stuck on this video so long, stuck in on it so long. You're trying to gain some wisdom instead of knowledge. You're trying to live forever, taken from the tree of life. Why are we not supposed to eat living creatures? Well, that's a whole different thing, I guess. So let's talk about, okay, so you kill a creature. What is that doing? Again, we talked about you kill a creature, its blood comes out of it. You're taking its spirit and its life. Take its life, take its spirit, take the blood. Okay? So that's a spiritual thing. Blood is very spiritual in the Bible. It's a paraphysical thing. It doesn't belong to us. It wasn't given to us. That's essentially it. On a scientific side of things, because, knowledge, we don't know everything yet, at least what God knows. God knows everything. We haven't learned yet. Some things that we have staring us in the face today, modern wisdom, when you're killing a creature, and you become dependent on that, you're going to have to make this a product of agriculture to support a society. And when you do that, there's a lot of issues in growing animals for food, to continuously taking life for food. This is the leap from knowledge into wisdom. We know that we can eat creatures. We know that they give us a substantial amount of nutrients and energy to be able to work our powerful brains to learn more things, and that's why we eat them, vice plants. But we haven't gained the wisdom, or at least some people have, but we, as a society, we discount them. We're not as a society, the wisdom point of how is this going to screw us? And here it is. you have these creatures being bred for agriculture. You're taking them out of their natural environment, and all kinds of horrible things, like one of them, disease, is going to happen. And that gets us into the discussion of clean versus unclean.